Live.
Yeah, the broadcast is live now.
Hey guys, I just need to apologise. We had a massive technical hitch here. We still don't know what's happened. We're just going to wait for you guys to come back in. We are back live and direct. This is the After Dark show. The
broadcast is live now.
If we can put our mics on silent, please. Thank you very much. We are back. I have to apologise for that technical hitch. And I'm going to blame it on Boris. I'm just going to blame it on Boris with all the nonsense that's going on in the country, in the UK. I'm just going to blame the Prime Minister because he's not making any sense. And there's no sense of what's happened here today. So we're going to go back to our conversation. Actually, we could just pick up from where you guys were. We were talking. We were still in the room having a conversation when we clicked off. So I just want to make sure that we are here. So are there any comments? If you can hear us on Facebook, please send us a comment. Please light up the screen so that we know that you are here. If you are on YouTube, please also let us know that you are here and that you can hear us live and direct as we continue the show. This has never happened on the show. Yes, Anthony McGregor. Nice to see you, sir. Good to see that you're back. Barbara Carriman, thank you very much. It's good to see you guys are back with us on the show. So we're going to carry on. I don't know where we were when we realised that the internet had gone, but this is life, guys. We better get used to it, especially those of us in the UK, because we are going to be relying on the internet for at least 6 months, because according to our Prime Minister, we're going to be in lockdown. But I bet you we're not locked down for Christmas. Anyway, let me just keep my mouth. Let me not cuss out the people there. Let me remember who I am for a moment. Yes, Michelle, I can see.
Yes, you were talking about the people on the show that you saw, the four couples, and they made them sit in front of each other,
right,
for 15 minutes.
Yes.
And Fidel was going to drop liquid gold.
Remembering to breathe.
Yeah.
And the breathing.
Thank you so. You guys are amazing. You're amazing.
I've just remembered what I was going to say now. The gold is back.
Okay, so do you want to go? So do you want me to come to you if you remember what you were going to say?
Well, I was just going to talk about. I mean, the thing about breathing and focusing on your breath is to bring you back to the present, right?
Mm-hmm.
Present in the moment, and that is the sexiest thing you can do, right? It's just be bloody present. And I think so many people aren't present with everything that they've got when they're having sex. Their minds are off somewhere else. They're in the future. They're even if it's just a small bit into the future, they're thinking about their orgasm, or they're thinking about someone else or something else, or they're fantasizing. They've got their eyes closed. Wherever they're not present and connected with their partner. And so, like, the breath is the first part of bringing yourself into the present and physically connecting with yourself. And if you're doing that, like you said, with eye contact with your partner, and you, so I'm an NLP master practitioner. One of the things we do to build rapport is to breathe, right? So when you're all breathing together, that's absolutely builds rapport. So you've got eye contact, you've got breath, you've got presence. That's hot, man.
It is. I agree. I agree with you, Fidel. I think that is the most sensual, horniest way of connecting with someone. And I find that if I just talk not from my own personal experience, but from what I've heard from clients, is that part of it is missing. There's sometimes sex is happening and there's no eye contact at all. Person can't look in the eye or connect. And I think, and this is why that was the advice that I gave, was about the breath, looking in the eyes, taking the moment. And even if you're on your own, to just really connect with your own breath. Because there's nothing wrong, as Chastity said about masturbation, there is nothing wrong. And I think it's really, really important, actually, especially for women who do not orgasm through penetration. or may not have ever had an orgasm to explore your body. Explore it, touch it, feel it, know it, and really connect with your breath while you're doing that. I really do. Chastity, I know you wanted to come in, and we're going to bring in the panel members as well.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I definitely agree with what you guys were saying about breath. It's really about being mindful, and that brings about an attunement. It brings about a connection that maybe is left. But I think Fidel hit the nail on the head when he said a lot of people just aren't present. But believe it or not, a lot of people have to fantasize about other people in order to be fulfilled in the sexual relationship that they have.
There's that.
So there's that too.
I can't argue with that. That's a thing.
Theo.
Yes, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Theo.
I watched back last week's show, and it was interesting because I was listening, because when you're on the panel, you can't really take everything in properly. So I was listening over again. And I think they should write tantric sex in the wedding vows. Because when you're married, you actually do it without even realizing you're doing it sometimes. Well, I do anyway. Because I do it because sometimes you don't have sex for a week, and you just because of time, circumstances, but you're speaking, or you might be away on holiday and stuff like that. So you're talking or whatever it may be. And then when you do connect again, it's like it's the first time again. If you're feeling everything again. Because sometimes being with someone for a long time, sometimes you can just go through the motions. You go to bed, have sex, go up and go to sleep. And then you don't have it for 3-4 days, a week, 2 weeks. And then when you do connect again, it's like, wow, who are you? So I think they should put it in there, because I didn't know what tantric sex was properly until I heard it again, what it really is. And I realized I've been doing this for a while. Sometimes I might want to sleep with my wife and I say, no, I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to leave it because it's going to be a bit sweeter if I leave it for a couple more days. Then a couple more days, because then when you get it now, it's like, whoa, it's fresh again. I don't know. And so when he was talking, I said, let me listen again properly what it's really about. And I said, you do this anyway in a relationship. That's what keeps the relationship fresh and new. You go away, you spend time apart. As I say, absent makes the heart grow fonder, isn't it? So when you're away from somebody and you miss them, when you actually do see them, then yeah. So I think they should put it in the vows, tantric sex part of the vows. Because most people think when you get married, sex is on tap, and yeah, we're gonna have it every night. But nah.
Well, most people
you've only got to ask another married person to get that one blown out of the water.
Most people's sex life actually go downhill after marriage. They have better sex while they're dating and courting than
exactly
they do
because you don't see each other so often. So when you're married and you see each other every day.
I wanted to just say, generally with staining is not tantra. I mean, there are different practices and there's different things that we do. I just don't want us to water down what tantric really is, because this is a whole entire spiritual practice. So it's a little bit deeper than just what staining or putting off. Trust me, I've done that in my own personal relationships. I've prescribed that to couples. Maybe got to take some time apart. I mean, I run couples through, sensate focus techniques and things like that all the time to increase the intimacy and the connectedness. But those are different things. But I feel like we don't really need to put anything else in vows that people aren't going to do already. It's like they already don't do what's in the vows, let alone put one more thing in there.
But they should be aware of it. They should be aware of it.
But I feel you though.
They should be aware of it, because I'm still learning about this tantric. That's why I asked for the books, because I need to. Because I'm interested in it. At first, I was like, "What's all this nonsense about?" But then now I get to know a bit more about it and understand it on another level. I said, yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Anything spiritual, I'm kind of into, so it's all good.
Sheena, Tantra is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So thank you for Theo. Yeah, I have to agree with Chastity though, because we have the marriage vows and people struggle with the little vow they have already to keep the vow. So yeah, but I think it's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad that those who are listening to the show are actually getting something from it and growing and want to try this in their relationships. I think it's a beautiful thing that we, we need to do. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I don't know how long we were out for, but you know, we just have to keep going. So okay, so we have covered the breathing. I'm looking a man to try it with now. That's from Lolly Bailey.
She's on you again, Fidel. She's on you again, man.
Listen. Boom. It's just like, there you go. Yeah. So yes, Fidel, what was the learning? What was your takeaways from the 21 days of abstaining from having an ejaculation?
Like I said, we were talking about it while we were off air.
Off air, yeah.
For me, the main thing is the removal of outcome focused sex, goal focused sex. So you just remove the orgasm is just taken off the table for you, and so what you then do is you explore where the other pleasure is, right? And the more you do it, the more you discover that the pleasure can be found further and further away from just penetration, right? And so if that's your enjoyment, rather than just being focused on this one momentary, like few seconds at the end, what you're then doing is like, well, hang on a minute. Well, how long can I experience the other pleasure? And so then it becomes, well, all right, so we can do this all day now. And so how can we make this interesting? So you just discover a lot more about yourself, and you discover a lot more about your partner. And yeah, I think generally it's been a very spiritual process for me, and I generally have felt an increase in my masculinity. Like I've been doing masculinity practices for a long time, but this is something that's taken it to another level. Like I said, when we were, one of the things is from when you bring that masculine energy to the bedroom and you're leading, and you're leading the sex, you can't do that unless you're in full control. I don't think of when it starts and when it ends. Like and so you can only do that when you've got that level of self-control, or you just take it off the table. That gives you an air of kind of positive power. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want it to come across as being sort of dominating or anything else like that, but it's a positive masculine power for sure. Energy in a good way. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
Interesting. Herbie Michelle, to read Shell's comment. Herbie Michelle, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I just want to ask, because you mentioned, Fidel mentioned about the penetration. Right, was this no penetration or no ejaculation? What was it?
No, just no ejaculation. So I still had sex during that period. But yeah, it's just no ejaculation. So don't get me wrong, like, to start off with, that's really hard. But you learn, and then the next level is starting to getting pretty close to like internal orgasms where there's no ejaculation at all. That's kind of where I am with it now, which is another interesting experience. But that's level 3. But yeah, apparently men can have 9 different kinds of orgasms. So I'm intrigued, if not more. Some people say more. Some people, I'm going for the low number first. 9
different times. I never heard.
Apparently, we can have 9 different types of orgasms.
Well, yeah,
that is another show. We will bring you back for that one, Fidel. 9 different.
You need to tell me about those 9.
We need to talk about that.
Well, there's like 11 or 12 in general, period. I think we only think about penetrative sex. There are so many different types.
I know a few, but
from head to toe, like, yeah, where's my boy with the elbow? I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's so much.
Ain't called a funny bone for nothing.
I'm curious about the 9 for men. That's what I'm curious about. I know women can have plenty, but
women
men
can have lots of different kinds of orgasms.
Yeah,
don't even know
Well,
that.
this
I
is
don't know.
why I say this is a whole different show, because I know.
I didn't know about 9. Wow.
But 9 different. We have to come back to that one.
Yeah, we need to find out that one, man. That's
So,
interesting.
There was a comment.
So I've got some homework to do then before that show.
Right. So can we put up Lorraine's comment? Anthony McGregor saying interesting. It is very interesting. Lorraine's comment about her meditation. Can we put that back up, please? Right. So Lolly Bailey says, sometimes when I meditate, I get aroused. Is that normal? Who would like to answer that question? Chastity, you want to take it?
Absolutely, because we're talking about Tantra. We're talking about a spiritual practice. So anything that's going to bring you closer, more in depth, intimately, and in tune with self is what's going to happen. In my cosmic sexuality certification training right now, that is essential in the part of it. We've done live, cosmic breathing, and people have all types of sexual energy is flowing because it's intentional. You're intentionally clearing the way, clearing the mind, and expecting or manifesting, however you want to put it, for something to happen in this realm. So absolutely. If you're in tune with self and you're spiritually connected with your sexual self, then absolutely. People, I mean, I've had an orgasm pumping gas. I mean, it really depends on how in tune you are with self.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yeah, Michelle and Herbie laughing.
What kind of gas you pumping, the Chastity, man? What kind of?
It was just regular unleaded here in the States.
Unleaded.
Regular unleaded.
That's right.
Seriously, if you're in tune
It must
with
be how
body,
you holding the hose.
no,
Must
not
be
how I
holding the
hold
hose.
the holes, not how I hold the holes, but how I'm positioning my vulva and my thighs or whatever it is. I mean, if I say Kegel right now, most biological females are going to automatically do this. It's like an involuntary situation. But when you have full control of all of the things, absolutely you can have an orgasm. It is completely and utterly normal and natural, and I say go with it and embrace it.
What was the word that you said? And the women are going to do that? I didn't hear you. So. I didn't hear the word. Right?
Record that thing.
Yeah, record it. What did you say? Kegel? I didn't hear it.
If I say Kegel, yeah,
He's now saying she does not feel like a weirdo, so that's a good thing for Lorraine. That is a good thing for Lorraine. Great, I thought I was a weirdo. No, you're not a weirdo at all. Very normal. Very, very normal.
And that actually probably will make her a step closer to really being able to go deeper in Tantra. Does that make sense? Because if you have never experienced that type of sexual energy, most of the time we get afraid of it. We're like, oh no, I'm supposed to be meditating. I'm supposed to be doing something spiritual. Why am I getting sexually turned on right now? And it's like, we are sexual beings. Stop trying to turn that knob off and just like embrace the way it comes on.
Turn it up, man. Turn it up, man. Turn it up, man.
Turn it up.
Sorry.
This is what the show is about. It's really about us helping us to reconnect with ourselves and our partners to make this better. You know, sometimes I think that in certain respects we are bound by certain things, certain traditions that we have been told, or certain practices that have been infiltrated in our minds throughout the times that we've been brought up. And I think now is the time, as this is an adult show, now is the time to shake yourself loose and be free, really free of who you are, and enjoy yourself and enjoy the partner that you are with to the fullest and to the highest capacity. And that's what I think, this is what the show is about. And that's what I think that we need as people. So Fidel, I'm halfway there for our class, Lorraine Bailey's.
At this point, Fidel got a whole orgy. It's about 5 different women that, you know, they don't want to have to find their own person to experience Tantra.
Fidel's got a harem. That's what Fidel's got. Man. He's got a harem going on there, man.
There's like saying, no, I'm me, no me. And they got one saying, back off, and all this. I'm like, ladies, come on, be nice.
That's why Fidel's been practicing that tan
Now,
stuff so he can.
Fidel, you got to live up to it. You got to live up to it now. We don't want no bad reviews with
No,
when they
no
come back
pressure,
from this
no pressure.
experiment.
Have we got 9? Have we got 9 participants there? Because I got some homework to do.
I'm sure you can get 9.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can get 9. No problem.
Listen,
Yeah,
Shell
Until
Williams.
next week.
Hold on, go back to Shell's comment, please. You move fast. Yeah, I strongly believe that we should all come together for an audience. I would love to see 3 people that have been on the panel naked. You need to name those 3 people, Shell. But you know what? That is not going to happen.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely. I'm with
Shell,
you.
Shell.
That far.
Sure, as long as you leave your thing at home, man. As long as you leave a strap on at home, it's all good, man. As long as you leave that at home, it's all good, man.
Keep coming near me with that.
Yeah, leave that at home, Shell, man.
The show is getting hot. It is getting hot in here. I'm telling you.
Can I want to bring something up there a little bit, like, and this is as much of a question or a query or a discussion. I'm not really coming with an answer here, but like there is a huge difference to what Tassie just said about being able to have an orgasm at the petrol pump and kind of then sort of being turned on. I mean, women can experience all of that. I mean, you guys can walk around turned on and having orgasms at petrol pumps and stuff like that, but you know, we'll get arrested for that shit. It's pretty well. For a start, we'd have to keep changing our underpants or whatever, and like, you know, it gets a bit messy when we do it, and also, you know, what it's fairly obvious, it's visible, isn't it?
Sometimes it's not.
Well, I can only speak about personal circumstances, but.
I'm just reading the comments here. Karen saying, "Theo, strap-on was not for you. You can't be talking for Tony."
Yeah,
I'm talking for Tony, man. I'm talking for Tony.
See, that's why Tony ain't here. That's why Tony ain't
You
here.
ran Tony off, man. Tony got scared.
That's why he was supposed to be here tonight. Something must have happened because Tony is always here. So you know, something must have happened. So we just pray that Tony is well. And that he will be back, I'm sure, next week.
Right. He hasn't had a visit from Show in a week.
So Lorraine Bailey said, "Come on, Fidel. No, go back, please, on that comment. Come on, Fidel. No sex, just tantric class. What you're saying? Then we can come back and discuss it on the show. Better still, we can film it." Okay, so you know what, Fidel? They're putting it on you tonight. I'm sorry. They are just putting it on you tonight.
But they are. But seriously though, like that, and that I think that whole thing kind of explains the difference between women and their focus on sexuality about multiple orgasms, connecting with themselves, having as many as possible, and exploring it that way. Whereas men's exploration is more internal. It's more about not necessarily restraint, but it's definitely more about control, and that's where the spiritual connection lies for men. Whereas women is the opposite. It's more about it's more external. It's about having all of those orgasms. It's about having more and exploring all the different ways you can do it. And for guys, it's about kind of restraint and more of an internal process. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It makes sense.
it's
I'm
right.
kind of putting that out there, like I'm theorizing as on the hoof.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. About control.
Yeah, because there is a difference, and this is where this is the fundamental difference, isn't it, between men and women, is when we come down to the sexuality part of it and the bits we have between our legs and the way we experience sex above and beyond procreation in order to make babies and reproduction. Yeah, I'm a little bit jealous actually, Tassie. I have to say, like, you know, I kind of want to be able to have an orgasm, like, and that's just not fair.
Go pump you some gas and have you an orgasm. Own it. You deserve it.
You're
It's
gonna bail
2020.
me out.
Right.
You'll end up on
We-
YouTube you'll end up on YouTube with the
Listen.
highest hits.
Nobody would have ever knew I had an orgasm at the pump unless I told
Yeah,
them.
because your females can
Nobody
get
would
away
have
with it.
never known.
Him walking around, something poking out,
Jumper.
get himself in
You
a whole
can't go
lot
to
of
jail
trouble.
for something poking out. Now, what you doing when it poke out?
He'd be in
Alright,
trouble,
how
and
you-
he'd be
yeah,
in
that's a little
trouble,
different.
man.
Just
Well,
wearing
Well,
a
if you
trouble.
ever come to the States, Fidel, I
Yep.
will give you some money towards your gas just to see if it could actually. I'm manifesting this for you. I'm manifesting this for you, and I will be there as your witness as to if it happens or not. You know.
I might need a hand with that.
Now we might go to jail for that. We might go to jail for giving you a hand.
I was
A little
talking about
different.
baggy trousers. Can I ask a completely off-key question? What is it, ladies? What is it with the grey tracksuit bottoms?
Oh, it's like sundresses for women. The sweatpants shows the print. It's like lingerie for men.
What
Yeah.
great? I
Grey
don't know.
sweatpants.
But this is a big thing in the women in my work. They
Yeah.
keep going on about the grey tracksuit bottoms, but I don't get it.
Yeah, they love the grey jogging bottoms. It's a thing. Even doesn't matter, all ages, from the young teenagers right up.
Really?
When I'm working in the schools and the colleges, they love the grey jogging bottoms.
So why you doing that, Theo? Why you wearing the
Me, I don't
gray
wear jogging bottoms.
first strapping them kids? Don't do that, Theo.
I don't wear jogging bottoms, man.
The woman like the grey.
It's about
The woman like the grey. The woman like the men wear them.
For somebody who likes to
Oh.
observe. I'm an observer. I'm
I got you.
an observer. So and I'm not saying that grey in particular suits, but what I'm saying is I think the ladies just like to
Lord.
and sometimes there's a little bit of a swing, and the grey ones seem to show up more of the swing. That's all it is. Interesting.
Oh dear.
It's interesting. So listen, guys, get back on track. Right. So
Wow, Shell's on it now. Shell's
Fidel
on
is,
it, Fidel.
Fidel is going to get him some gray sweatpants. I just want to see a picture. I don't have to be there to witness it. I just want to see a picture that's going to be good enough for me.
Well, yeah. I think Shell's imagination has gone.
Shell's at the gas pump.
She is
That's
at
right.
the gas pump. You. That's where she's at. She's at the gas pump with you, Fidel. She really is. But we want to bring it back to the sensuality because, next week we are going to be looking at some items, some toys next week. And so we can delve and go into that kind of conversation next week. But we want to look at and kind of wrap up the sensuality of the Tantra and how we really connect with our partner or with ourselves. We want to look at that because at the end of the day, we want to be able to move forward. We don't just, yes, we're having a bit of a laugh, but we also want to learn some things here. It's very, very important that we learn something about ourselves and what we can achieve by ourselves or with someone else. We want to build our relationships. We want to grow and we want to thrive. And it's really important that, yes, we have the fun and we have the jokes and all of that, but we must remember that ultimately we want to grow spiritually and sexually, because I think it's important, especially now, as so many relationships are failing, that not all relationships have to fail. It does take some understanding, and it does take us taking the time to reconnect with the person that we are with, and see if we can build on that relationship, because at one stage that person was the person that you was into. At one stage that was the person that you was thinking of all the time. At one stage that was the person that you couldn't wait to get home to. At one stage that was the person that you wanted to spend all night on the phone to. So it's about how do we get back to that? How do we build our relationships? And sometimes I know life can come in and all these things go on, but actually, if we take time for each other, with each other, we can reconnect and we can change things. Chastity said something earlier. She said, if you do the same thing, which is something that we know, If you do the same thing over and over and over again, you are going to get the same result. But if you want a different result, that means that you have to change something. That means that you have to be accountable. It means that you have to take responsibility. And this show is not just about jokes. It is about us coming together. It is about us growing and building on our relationships and being that and getting to that higher level spiritually as well as sexually, because we are sexual beings, we're spiritual beings, and we want what we want. I want what I want. I want what I want. I want to be able to connect with myself as well as with my partner and have and go to the higher heights. Whereas Michelle and Herbie talked about a few weeks ago about connecting so much that they even when they reach that point, they're even speaking a different language that they don't even know. And so these are the places that we as human beings, we can get to those places if we want. If we put all those bits of isms and schisms and the laughter and all of that aside, and we really want our relationships to grow, which I believe most of us do, we can achieve these things. So I really want us to bring this back now, because this is what the show is about. I want us to bring this back and really, just because we haven't got much time left, really look at the sensuality of our sexuality, how we can engage. And for those who are single, to show, Fidel talked about feminine energy, to show many women, me included, let me raise my hand, are operating from masculine energy. I know that. And we want to be able to find partners. We want to be able to be connected, and we want to know how. So I'm going to bring it back to our experts. In all that I have said, how can we advise those who are listening now so that they can have greater sex with themselves, greater relationships with themselves, and greater sex and relationships with others? Either one of you can, whoever wants to jump in first can go first.
Well, I would say, first of all, it's about, like I said, you don't know what you don't know. So the first step is to just spend some time learning and having a look, reading. I mean, we live in a wonderful, it's an amazing time to be alive, right? All the information, every answer to every question is out there, right? You can learn it. And now, guess what? If we're going to get locked down again, you've got plenty of time to sit there and read. No excuses. But it's taken an interest. I don't know. There's very few kind of things that are as important. Sex is important. It's a massive part of our lives as humans, right? It's a gift for us that we get to experience this thing above and beyond any other living organism on the planet, right? We get to have pleasurable sex and connect in this way and have relationships in different ways. And yeah, that's a gift. So go kind of, the first thing is to learn what's out there, first of all. Practice on your own, talk to your partner, communication, go on a journey together. But that's the first step, I would say. Step number one for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the communication. I think also foreplay. Foreplay is so essential. I think a lot of times this is a part of sex that people skip. This is a part of sex that people forget. And for most females, it is almost mandatory for us to even achieve orgasm and pleasure. And so when we're talking about Tantra, we're talking about exploring different things. One of my major pieces of advice would be to increase the foreplay. Increase the foreplay. Slow down. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the ride and see what actually happens. I think too many people skip foreplay, and there's a lot of room for sensual connection as well as chemistry and intimacy to kind of run its course. It's kind of like I don't know how cold it is over in the UK, but in the States, if you live up north, it's snowing. You know, you go outside, you warm your car up. You don't just in New York come outside in the winter and crank your car up and back it up. Like warm up the engine. Get the energy, the sexual energy actually flowing before the goal is penetration. So I definitely would say that. Go ahead, Fidel. I know you want to go ahead.
I like that. The old adage that I always do: the men are switches, women are dials, right? So we can if we want to, we can be up and ready and finished very quickly. Women thing. I don't even like using the concept of foreplay because that then just puts it in another chunk. I think when we're looking at this, we just need to take all of that structured stuff a little bit away. So it's everything, every way we connect with our partner links back to that sexual connection. Because people go foreplay. What does that mean for most people, right? Going down on each other, giving a blowjob or whatever, or looking each other out, whatever. But, and then some people extend that out maybe to some feathers or something like that if they're getting really imaginative, right? So when you say foreplay, it almost is like we do this bit first and then we do that bit, right? It becomes a little bit perfunctory. Not for everybody, but I'm saying that's the image of most people. We do foreplay first. Like foreplay starts when you finish the last bit of sex, right?
No, that's afterplay.
But no, for me, at the end of when you finished having sex, that's when the next sex starts. Thinking about it, and it doesn't stop. You link them all together, and then I don't know. Like it all becomes one, right? It all becomes one. It's there. It's always there. It should always be there. A little link.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be, but sex can also be one without the other. Like foreplay is sex. I don't care how you. It doesn't have to be any oral taking place. Foreplay is still sex. It's still sexual energy exchange. Yep. It's still sexual activity. It is sex, and so I just feel like if we can step away from penetration and all the aspects of it, right, and just really just enjoy the person that you are with, I think that there will be no limits to the amount of pleasure, the amount of fulfillment, satisfaction. It'll completely change the face of sex in a lot of relationships. In my experience, a lot of people are having sex, but it ain't great sex. It ain't good sex. It's not even satisfactory sex. You're going through the motions because the vows you took and the expectation is this is what we do. But at this point, neither one of you or anybody involved is enjoying it, but nobody's saying that. Nobody. But you've been doing the same thing for the last 20 years.
That's where the communication comes in, doesn't it?
Absolutely. But also, I think ego has to take a back step. A lot of times, especially if it's in a heterosexual relationship, women tend to not be as open about what it is that they want, need, desire, or if their partner is or isn't doing it for them because they don't want to bruise the ego. They don't want to hurt their husband's, partner's, person's feelings. And it's like, pleasure is your personal responsibility. Yes, it's a way to do it where you're not completely killing the person's vibe, but it's also how receptive are you going to be open to your partner telling you that you're not pleasing me? I don't like what we've been doing. I find this to be a complete waste of time. If you're not going to be open, to the feedback, remember you said earlier, Fidel, you said creating a space that's conducive of the conversation. Well, if you're not open and the space is not safe, it's not affirming, it's not empowering, then 9 times out of 10, your partner will never tell you that they're going through the motions. They're looking at sex as a duty, as a job, and they're wishing it was over. They probably do got to fantasize about somebody else just to be able to get there, or they got somebody else, and that's what they're doing. So I'm just simply saying, if we can talk about it a little bit more, I definitely agree with that. And
Theo, the sound's gone.
I know, I can't hear it.
Oh, my bad. I accidentally pressed mute. If we take all these boundaries and rules off of stuff, I think we'd have more pleasurable sex. Sex could be fun again. Who wants to keep doing something that feels like a chore? I'm just saying.
So I did an interview earlier on and we were talking about it. And one of the things I work with my clients is getting them to practice in the mirror, because I think a lot of guys and women, we don't have the language even. So we don't even know how to start these conversations or even express ourselves properly. So one of the things I do just in general in life coaching in general, but it certainly is really good from a sexual point of view, is to just practice on your own first before you step in front of your partner and say what it is you want to say. A good thing to do is practice it first. know what you want, practice saying it in a kind and considerate way, and then bring it to your partner. It's a good tip.
It is indeed. I like the fact that you've brought that up. Practice is good, and the more you practice makes better. I never say practice makes perfect, but it makes better. So the more you practice, the more you become in tune with yourself. And it appears that not Fidel, just Fidel, who is the hot one tonight. Chastity, I think Shell is saying, I don't know what's going on the show tonight.
I seen it. I already seen it. I peeped it already.
So there you go. It's there. It's out there today. There is definitely something that is going on around here. Everything good around here, Anthony McGregor says. So yes, absolutely. Practice. At the end of the day, we touched on it earlier. At the end of the day, and I am going to speak to women. I'm going to put it out there to the women. At the end of the day, we cannot expect a man to meet a man and this man is just magically going to be able to give us or help us achieve an orgasm. We must know our bodies first. We must. And it's actually your responsibility. It's my responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's our responsibility as women to know our bodies. Why put so much pressure on the man? If you know your body, if you know what makes your body scream, squirm, or squirt, whatever it is, if you know what it is, that you can guide him, and that will help you to be fulfilled and also him to be fulfilled. And this is what we have to do. So when I say practice, you have two hands. God give you two hands. Some of us give one and a finger upon it. Use it. Get to know yourself. Get to know yourself. It's very, very, if you want to achieve and you want to have a great sexual experience, a spiritual experience even, get to know yourself. Get to know your hands. Use Hannah and her 5 friends. It's not just for men to use Hannah and her 5 friends. It's not just for men. It is for you as well. Okay, so we were told meditation, masturbation, connecting with the breath. We were also told to practice. Are there any other tips that you would like to give to our viewers in terms of them reconnecting with themselves, reconnecting with their partners and growing and evolving? Are there any more tips that you would like to give while we are on the subject? And that's to our experts.
It's a little bit left field, but one of the things that's really changed for me energetically is doing grounding exercises for men, being barefoot, connecting to the earth, and stuff like that, and that really connects you to your masculine energy. And I see it all as one kind of thing. And once you build that connection with yourself to the earth, like I said, I see it all as one. I understand that it's a linear journey, and that takes a little while to get to connect all the dots. But anything you can do to connect with your masculine energy and understand it more allows you to walk along this path with a different perspective, I think.
Okay, that's really interesting. Is it just because okay, so you've heard me say, and I'm going to be really open and honest here, because you've heard me say that I know that I operate a lot in masculine energy. I know that,
yep.
Right? And the practice that you have just spoken about is something that I do very often. I go outside and I reconnect and I ground myself.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm feeling like I'm connected to feminine energy, but
for sure. Good. Yeah. So it all depends on your intention when you do it. There's nothing more feminine. I mean, it's Mother Earth, right? And there's nothing more feminine than nature itself. But the practices you can do, it depends on your intention when you do it. You can do it in a very masculine way, or you can do it in a very feminine way. And I think for women, it is that. For women, connecting more with their feminine energy. But guys, we've got to start leading this stuff, man. Guys have got to start leading this. We have to provide the container, because what we're looking at is a generation of many women who are zipped up in the suit of armor of their masculine energy, because they're protecting themselves from a myriad of different reasons. And it's a wonderful thing to behold when you bring that masculine energy to a woman and you watch her take that suit of armor off. It's like watching a flower blossom, right? And you get to witness that. It's one of the most beautiful things you can witness as a man. And they will do that if you bring that positive masculine energy to the table. So the more you can practice your own masculine practices and tap into your own masculine energy, and bring that into the sexual dynamic as well, amazing things are going to happen.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think a lot of times, and as Yvonne has said, we operate, a lot of women who are entrepreneurs, who are on the go, we have to be in masculine energy to be able to show up and prove ourselves in those spaces. The one thing that Fidel just talked about and spoke about, not only bring your masculine energy to the space, but make it safe for us to pack masculine energy away. Make us feel like a woman. Make us feel sensual. Make us feel. I feel like if I gotta wear a cape everywhere else in the room, when I come home, I want to be able to take the cape off. Point blank, period. If I cannot remove the cape in front of my partner and my home and be the most vulnerable I can be, then there is something wrong in my relationship. It's some dynamics that need to change. Something has to shift. We should be creating a space where you feel comfortable and are able to step into that feminine energy, or at least be more in tune with your feminine side without your manhood or your masculinity being questioned, and vice versa. I think that's where that balance and being matched with the right person comes into play as well. Because a lot of times we're trying to do all the right things with the wrong person. I can't even take credit for that. One of my therapist friends posted that this morning, and that is so entirely true. You're trying to do all the right things with the wrong person, and then you wonder why you end up with a project.
Come on down.
That's not my word. That's my girl Vladimir. My fellow therapist put that out there this morning. I did share it is on my story on Facebook, but that was a whole entire word. We're trying to do all the right things with the wrong person, and then we wonder why we end up with a project and not a partner. So if you're looking for a partnership, make sure you're looking for somebody that balances those things out, I think.
That's a word. I felt that. And I have to thank you for bringing that. Make it a safe space. That's men. Are you listening? Are you hearing? Right? Are you listening to what has been said? Women, are you listening to what Fidel said? Men, are you listening to what Chastity has said? Because listen, one of the reasons why we fail is because we don't listen to each other and the opposite side. And Chastity and Fidel, both of you have dropped some bombs tonight. I want to thank you for what you have contributed to this show tonight. I think there's a lot to unpack, a lot for people to learn from. But I love what you said, Chastity, about making the space safe so that you can. We want to take off the superhero cape. I know what. Let me talk for me. I want to be able to take off the superhero's cape, the entrepreneur cape, the person that does all of these different things, the person who is high energy and is always like, right, we've got to do this, we've got to do this. I want to be able to be able to do that.
Yeah, I posted a book. I posted a suggestion of a book because we're talking about feminine energy and being more in tune with that. It's called Pussy Prayers is the name of the book. You can find it on Amazon. It's all over. It's a really good read for those who are trying to be more in touch with, embracing their whole entire feminine side. So, yeah.
Pussy Prayers.
Yes.
That's a very interesting name. Very interesting name. Pussy.
Does it have prayers in there? I'm
Get
curious.
the book, Theo. Get the book.
I go, right.
I don't think it's. I think it relates to me. Does it pray? On your knees and
Praying. She prays a lot. Yeah.
I like that.
Ladies, it's time to go into pussy prayer. That's what it's time to do. Yeah. Come on now. Some of us, because there are a lot of women here who have got masculine energy and have admitted so on the show. We have some really powerful women on this show who are holding their own for whatever reason. It's time to go into prayer. Pussy prayer. I love it. I love it. I'm never ever gonna forget that.
That one is there. I'm waiting for a pastor to bust that one in a service, man.
Come on, saints, bow your heads. We are about to go into pussy prayer. Come on now. Touch your neighbor and say pussy prayer. Anyway, no, maybe not. Yes. Michelle and Herbie, what are your takeaways from tonight's show?
For me, I feel that I will definitely go, because I've downloaded the app that Fidel spoke about a few weeks ago. I have downloaded it and we've been talking about it, but I think we need to just go into it and just see what it's sort of saying, and then go from there. But yeah, it's been interesting this week. It has been really interesting, and I have been listening, from been in a relationship for so many years and just sort of listening and thinking, okay, and I hear that. And the thing is, some of the things that you were talking about, grounding and those sort of things, I spoke about this to Herbie years ago, and it's funny how it's sort of come back up again. So it's allowing me now to rekindle that and then sort of take some steps to see what it's all about, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Herbie?
Yeah, there's tonight was interesting. It's a bit different for us. Well, speak for yourself. In terms of being together for a long time, the same sort of sexual partner. I can relate to what Thea was saying earlier, in that when you connect and have great sex, which involves sort of breathing, eye contact, everything else, it seems fresh every time. And when I say fresh, it's like we must have had sex probably 1 trillion times. But every time, it's not something that I would say I'm bored of it, because it's always new. I think the whole experience sort of is kind of God-given, and it's designed, if it's done in a spiritual way, to be kind of fresh, new, like a new experience each time. And I think that's what we've been doing. We just, sometimes it's just like we just met. We can't, it's like, whoa, this is just like, it's just fresh again. Sometimes even the experience is like it may be an old experience, isn't it? Like it's old, it's like they may repeat themselves, but it's one that's happened years ago. It's like, oh, like we felt this, like, we haven't felt this way for a while, but this is great. And I do understand the whole connection thing, conversation thing, communication. And yes, we are going to move on the tantric thing, because I do like the I do like the benefits seem to outweigh, the just having the penis vagina thing, and I think the control is good, because as men, particularly in general now, some men, we get frustrated because we want sex and we want the penis thing, and vagina thing and it's not happening. But if there's other alternatives, and or we don't focus on that, then it just eliminates that. And I think that causes a lot of issues in marriages and in relationships where, you know what I mean, you know, that part of it is not really evolved or moved on. You know. But I won't talk too much now. That's it.
Brilliant, absolute. You know, I just want to say, if I bring Tio in, I want to say to those who are just joining, if you were just joining and you just heard what Herbie said, I just want to show something to you. Herbie and Michelle have been married for 34 years and been together for 37 years, right? And what Herbie said from his experience of not even knowing how to do it fully, but just doing the connecting the eyes and the breathing and just those parts. He said every time it just makes it fresh, it makes it new, and it just makes it good. So I want to encourage those who are in long-term relationships that you can reconnect with your partner. You can, if you both so wish that to happen. If you are happily married, try this experience and reconnect with the person that you love and grow in your relationship. If you are single, then you should do it. You can try it on your own and reconnect with yourself. Because I tell you what, if you cannot connect with yourself, you're not going to connect with nobody. So try it. Give it a try. I'm going to bring in Tia. So, Tia, what was your takeaways from tonight's show?
Well, continuing from Herbie, as I said earlier, it is right when you connect with your partners. It's always fresh. It should always be fresh anyway with your partner. If you're in a long-term relationship, I've been with my wife now for 17 years, so it should always be fresh. What I've taken away today is just connecting more and trying to find out more about tantric. As I said, it should be something that all married couples should do because it makes your relationship, this keeps your relationship fresher because it's like you're discovering new things about your partner. As we get older, your habits and your likes changes. So it's good to keep talking and communicating. And so you keep connecting. So every time you have sex or make love, whatever you want to call it, it's like not a new person, it's like a new being because it's a new spiritual being. You're connecting on another level. So that's always good to keep doing it. So if you're in a relationship, keep talking to your partner. And if you're not talking to your partner about that, then I don't know, because that should be part of the main conversations that you have pretty much, apart from your everyday, how's work, how's the children, how's that, because you need to be connecting constantly on spiritually because, I don't know, that's your life partner. So you need to grow together. So as you're changing, they're changing, keep talking, you keep finding out new things. Oh, I didn't know you like this. Oh, I didn't know you like that. Okay, let's try it. And don't be scared to try something, man. What harm is it going to be? It's your partner. Try it. Try it. So I'm waiting for Chastity to send me the books over so I can read and try some more stuff for my wife.
Brilliant. Well done. Yes. Yes, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
I like trying new things on my wife. So send the books, Chastity, and I'm good to go, man. And Fidel, send me that link as well so I can be even more troublesome with that. So it's all good.
I'd say drop the link back in the comments because we might have different people who are here today than that were here, 4 weeks ago or so when that was.
Absolutely. Drop your books. Fidel, have you written a book?
No, my book's coming out in November, but it's not really relevant for here. It's The Modern Man's Guide to Divorce.
Adele is gonna get you ready for divorce, and I'm gonna get you ready for sex after divorce.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
you can use this book. You can use that stuff for in a relationship too, though. I mean, it all works.
Yeah, mine not. Book number 2 is about dating after divorce, but yeah, that's coming in the spring.
That's up next. That's up next.
That's up next. Book number 2 is coming in the spring when the sap is rising.
Well, I tell you, if the ladies have their way, something will be rising for you. Anyway, Fidel, what were your takeaways from today? What would you like, or advice that you would like to leave with us on tonight's show?
Well, I've got a pair of grey tracksuit bottoms in my shopping basket. That's number one. I'm going to be more focused when I'm buying petrol. So yeah, look, from it's presence. That's one word. I don't mean buying things. It's about being present every single time, whether you're on your own and you're masturbating or whether you're with your partner. Just be present in the moment and really like experience all the different little bits that are going on in your body. If you're with a partner, like connect with them and be there in the moment, and stop looking forward to this end point of orgasm. Just take that off the table. Forget about that. Just forget about that. Be present in the moment. Stop being goal focused. Stop being goal orientated. Stop worrying about the orgasms, whether your partner's having them or whether you're having them. Just forget about it, and just enjoy every single moment and keep them going. Keep them going. Connect them all. Connect all the dots, whether that's text messages, whether it's speaking, whether it's having dinner, whether it's eating, whether it's foreplay, whatever it is. Just keep it all connected. Be sexual in everything you do.
Wow, thank you. Be sexual in everything you do. I'm going to take that piece of advice.
Amen to that.
Yeah, amen. Chastity, come girl. Give us your thoughts.
I would just say, stay true to yourself. Be authentic. Show up authentically. Own what you want, need, and desire, and it's your responsibility to get it. So that's it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
I would like you can put your handles, your books on the thread. Chastity, can you send me your book, your personal books, because obviously you know I want to purchase. And also, I want to say to every person who's listening tonight, every female, there is a book that you need to buy, and it's called Pussy Prayers. I've never read it, just from the title. I think you should buy it.
I've just ordered it on my Kindle. I can't wait to have a look at this.
Yeah, I'm going to order it tonight. I want to read this. Just the title alone is like, okay, I'm intrigued. Pussy Prayers. I could just imagine someone on their hands and knees praying. Yeah,
Yoni.
just one of those things. Yeah, so guys, we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank you all for joining us. I know that it's been a bit hit and miss today with us dropping out and coming back in, but I do hope that you have learned something today. I hope that you've got some tools. I hope that you've got some strategies to actually start to reconnect with yourself when you are by yourself, and also to connect with the partner when you are together, and really grow and learn and develop to connect with the self. It's so important. It is so important. And also just to remind you that next week we are going to be having After Dark show live in the studio. And so we are going to need your details. If you want to come onto the show, if you want to see what we have to show you, we need your details. So please do look out. There will be something on my page tomorrow, and it will also be on MediaNet Live as well. So those of you who are watching on YouTube, you will need to connect with Facebook to get the details. Let me just say this to you. Let me say it again. You will need to connect with Facebook, either MediaNet Live TV or YvonneMichelle.com. You will need to connect to get the link so that you are able to be a part of the show. We have got some real goodies in store for you. And for the next few weeks, we got Sup Magwan. I'm telling you, some things fire. So if you want to be a part of the show, you will connect. And if you don't find the link, contact MediaNet Live TV, contact Yvonne Michelle, and if you know anybody who is panel members, you can also contact them and they will be able to direct you in the right place. But for now, Those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube, I want to thank you for tonight's show. I want to thank you for your contribution. I hope that you've learned something. I hope that your relationships grow as a result of this show. But for now, I'm going to wish you good night. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay having lots of good sex. Stay connected. But for now, guys, let's say good night to everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
God bless.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, Lonnie.
Good night.
Stay online, guys.
You ready? You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.